Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Swiss Army Dan here, coming at you with another Swiss Army knife video. And I've been posting these things, quite a bit lately, and I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up. I probably am going to pump the brakes on posting Swiss Army knife videos, at least just for a little while, and give you guys a break and maybe time to watch everything I posted. I've got another one or two coming up for this season, so don't get too worried right yet. But before this season is over, I kind of wanted to go over this video, which I think is something that's really, really important. And I just didn't want you guys to go without this information. So when I was a little kid, I grew up in the '80s. And I was a huge fan of a little show called MacGyver with Richard Dean Anderson. And I even remember when I was in like second grade and I had a class assignment or something, and they were like, name one of your heroes. And I was like, MacGyver. And I remember telling my second grade teacher that I thought he was a crafty dude and I really enjoyed the show, even though I probably didn't get everything that was going on. And anyway, I'm a big fan of this show, even though I know it's kind of quirky and campy and whatnot, but that's kind of maybe what I like about it. So I wanted to show you. This is not a comprehensive collection of what MacGyver used, but it's quite a few of them. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't have any of the 111 millimeter knives that he used. I know there's like the picnicker and one other one that I know he uses in a couple episodes, and I kind of want to get those. I'm not really into those knives that much, but I kind of want to get those just because MacGyver carried them. Anyway, so let's start off with the very first one that MacGyver carried in the very first opening episode, the pilot, and that's the Tinker Small. And MacGyver carried that, I think, for the first three episodes. He carried the Tinker Small, and it's a great 84 millimeter knife with a Phillips on the back. I think this is probably even older than MacGyver carried because he probably had one that was 85 or post 85 because that show started in 85. But anyway, all except for that, his was probably rounded. Same one. I think he even had like an economy version in that first episode with no tweezers and toothpick. But there's your Tinker, Tinker 84 millimeter, Tinker Small. That MacGyver definitely, that was one of his faves. So that speaks very highly of that one. I know he had a Vanger. I think I only have one Vanger. I wonder if I can just point it out here. We'll get to it, but again, I don't have a lot of Vangers, and even the one I do have doesn't have that classic long Vanger keychain on it. So we are going to miss out on that one. I think the next one that I have on the list that he's using is this Executive, and this is actually on the opening credits. He uses this orange peeling blade to like pry open like a little tube or something. Also, he works on a bomb or something on a ship with this guy. I think at one point he cuts a little slit in a cactus to get some energy going. So yeah, the Executive was definitely a go-to for MacGyver. So that's a must-have, right? It says that he uses the Golf Original. This is the closest thing I have to a Golfer Original, and of course, MacGyver only used red scales. This one's got white scales, but you notice it doesn't have the hook, which is like a 91 feature. But it does have the plus scales. These are newer scales on here, but I mean this is what you get with the old golfers. Some of the golfers they're either gonna have the spring on there is a little messed up. They're either gonna have that divot repair tool or they're gonna have a combo tool. This one has the combo tool, but I'm pretty sure this one was called the Golfer when it came out. It might have been called. The Compact already. I don't know exactly what year they started calling it the Compact. I know by like '91 the compact was in place. So I think maybe before '91 it was called the Golfer. Here's a standard. MacGyver definitely used this one quite a bit. It's just a Spartan with no scale tools. I don't really know how to make the difference between an economy Spartan and a standard. And maybe as I learn more, I'll be enlightened about the details of that. Maybe they just decided not to put scale tools in there for a while and called it the standard instead of the Spartan. Because I know that this thing was called a camper in the 60s. It might have been the 84 millimeter version or both. I'm not sure. It might have been even like the camper and the camper small. I don't have all those facts, but maybe as I learn more, I'll know. But anyway, here's a Spartan standard that MacGyver definitely used. Here's a camper. I remember in one episode he's like cutting out the back of this old couple's car to throw at another car to slow them down. MacGyver was always about slowing people down, that are on their tail. Like, well, you're chasing me. I'm gonna tear my plane or car apart and throw it at you. That'll stop you. But it always seemed to work for him. So I mean, I'm not knocking the dude. So yeah, there's a camper. That was a go-to for MacGyver in a couple episodes. Next we have the climber. He used this in a few episodes. It's just like that Spartan plus scissors. I passed this guy by. The sportsman. He used this in several episodes as well. At least a few. It's just like a Taurus or the 84 millimeter version of the Spartan, but instead of a small blade, it has a nail file. And this one has nylon scales. I don't, the 111 millimeter knives he carried, they come with the nylon scales, but he probably always carried the regular old Celador. But here's a sportsman. That was a go-to for him. The recruit. He carried the recruit in several episodes. I think he favored a recruit economy for like 4 episodes in a row, 5 episodes in a row. He used that recruit economy a lot. But I don't have a recruit economy. I only have the regular recruit. The economy would just not have the scale tools again. But yeah, no back layer tools on the recruit. 84 millimeter classic kind of tool set on this side. Good go-to classic sack. That's why they call it the recruit. They don't have this with a nail file, as far as I know, which would be the cadet basically. If you had this, it would be the same in a nail file here. It would be the cadet. So the cadet's just like this without the back layer tools. The sportsman. Little tangent there. Here's a economy tourist. I don't have any regular tourist. I collect these ones with the advertisement on it, but MacGyver definitely carried the tourist a few times. His probably had the key ring and scale tools. All the tourists I have are like this, but I dig them like this, and that's why. But tourist nonetheless. Here's a regular old Spartan. And it's different than the economy because it's got scale tools, right? And I call this the MacGyver. I mentioned that in another video because it's got that fluted corkscrew. It's 91 before, and this is 85 and after that. So actually that's in my German language video, so you probably didn't watch that one if you speak English. If you don't speak German, I should say. And here is a Super Tinker. I think that came pretty late in the series that he used the Super Tinker. And it might have even been one with the hook on it because I think it was like, one of the last episodes or one of the last seasons, which was like 92. Here we have a Huntsman. He uses this eventually. Let's see, I had it right here where he uses the Huntsman. I think that's probably around season 5 or so that he's got a Huntsman. And yeah, the Huntsman probably. And I got one without the hook, so it'd be that MacGyver era. There's the MacGyver Huntsman right there, people. Here's the Vanger, and he used this actually really early on. He stopped using the Vangers, I think, after season 1 or maybe season 2. But this is this is the Commander, and he uses this, I know, at least in one episode. Another one he has scissors, and then it's just like this one plus scissors, basically. The other one he carries, the other Vanger. The Fisherman, I know. I remember Jack throwing him the Fisherman at one point, and you see that little fish inlay there, and so you know that MacGyver carried the Fisherman at least in one episode. Here's the Fisherman. And Serenity, I think the episode is called. He has a Spartan hardwood, so I figured I'd show you the hardwood. That's like when MacGyver is a cowboy and whatnot. I know one where he is interacting with, King Arthur, and he goes back in time or whatever. He's sporting this one. I think he screws the corkscrew in, is actually hanging from it that way. Merlin, and MacGyver pulls out this large blade on his compact and cuts the string that Merlin is doing a parlor trick with. And then there's a paramedic who's like helping MacGyver, I think, at the end, and she pulls out a compact too. I'm like, compacts everywhere. Compacts. I'm like, yes, that's my favorite one. Way to go, MacGyver. Good choice, bro. And then we've got a hiker here, and I think it's either the hiker or the Super Tinker. It's a 3-layer with a Phillips in one of the last episodes, or even Atlantis. I think it's the last. It's a movie, but yeah, there's the hiker. So it's just like the camper with a Phillips instead of a corkscrew. So, man, that's 12 minutes of MacGyver Swiss Army knives, and that was not even all of them, with a little banter there. But I appreciate you guys tuning in to my MacGyver tribute video. So you guys be kind to each other, and I'll let you go for now. Swiss Army Dan is out.